JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, elderly man found guilty of gun crimes and robbery dies in police custody. An elderly man who was scheduled to be sentenced on Friday for gun-related crimes has died in police custody. Dudley Watt, 65, reportedly collapsed inside a lockup at the Central Police Station in downtown Kingston on Tuesday. He was later pronounced dead at hospital. Earlier this month, Watt was convicted for illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition, as well as robbery with aggravation, according to the Independent Commission of Investigation, INDECOM. He was scheduled to be sentenced on November 13. Daniel Anderson, Senior Public Relations Officer at INDECOM, said Watt complained that he was experiencing shortness of breath before other inmates alerted cops. Police sources said the elderly man was worried about the sentence. Anderson said Watt has been in custody since October last year. Earlier this year, he was diagnosed with renal failure and has been getting treatment, she disclosed. INDECOM has started a probe into the incident and has already recorded statements from other inmates at the lockup. Anderson said the agency is awaiting the result of a post-mortem on Watt's cause of death. Man found dead in Portmore, St. Catherine. The St. Catherine South Police are probing the circumstances surrounding the death of a man in the community of Washington Mews in Newlands, Portmore, St. Catherine last night. The man is yet to be identified and no motive has been established for the shooting. The police report that residents heard explosions about 9:30 p.m. and called them. On their arrival, the police say a man was found slumped over the steering wheel of a black Nissan AD wagon motor car with what appeared to be gunshot wounds. 16-year-old shot in Guy's St. Catherine. A 16-year-old boy has been admitted to hospital in serious condition after he was shot by men in Guy's St. Catherine on Monday. The gunman also fired at another 16-year-old boy. It was reported that about 8 p.m., the two boys were walking in the community of Berwick when men traveling in a car carried out the attack. The police have not established a motive for the shooting. 53 new COVID-19 cases. Jamaica has recorded 53 new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the island to 9,634. No new deaths were recorded during the period, leaving the country's death toll at 225. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, of the newly reported cases, there were 20 males and 33 females, with ages ranging from 17 to 62 years. 17 cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew, 14 in St. Catherine, 8 in St. James, 4 in Manchester, and 2 in Hanover. St. Elizabeth, St. Thomas, St. Mary, Trelawney, and Westmoreland each recorded 1 case. The country also registered 49 patient recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 5,043. Double death rocks red cap porters. The mood at the Sands International Airport on Wednesday morning was somber as red cap porters mourned the passing of 2 of their colleagues who died within 24 hours of each other. 39-year-old Dwayne Peart, who was forced into retirement owing to a debilitating illness less than a year ago, died on Tuesday night. On Wednesday morning, his former colleague, 60-year-old Lewin Bigger Orton, collapsed at the airport. Orton was later pronounced dead at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. It's not good at all, were the few words Opal Atkins, administrative assistant at the Montego Bay Red Cap Porter Association, could muster when she spoke on Wednesday. Both men, she said, were assets to the organization, with Orton having spent the last 20 years on the job. He worked on Tuesday and was back on the job on Wednesday when eyewitnesses say he complained of not feeling well. It seemed as if he was having a seizure, Atkins said she was told. The night before, Peart, who had been ailing and was unable to walk, a requirement for the job as a porter, died at hospital. When the news of a double death reached the ears of the porters on duty at the airport, they all started to cry, said Atkins. Orton, who was from Moy Hill District, was well loved. Bigger was very popular and friendly. Everybody was his cousin, declared Atkins. Patient jumps from third floor of hospital, dies. The sister of a mentally ill patient who died days after reportedly leaping from the third floor of the Princess Margaret Hospital in St. Thomas last Saturday is demanding an explanation from health authorities on the tragedy and why a request to have him restrained was denied. It has also emerged that hospital officials had not, up to 5 days later, reported the incident to the Morant Bay police station. Something need for talk out in the world. Sad, it hot. This is more than me can bear, Sharika Thomas said. Welton Thomas, 41, was taken to the Princess Margaret Hospital on Thursday, November 5, by his sister, who reported that he was acting strange and complained of weakness and a stomach ache. After being treated and sent home to his Springfield Barking Lodge home with paracetamol and vitamins, Thomas was taken back to the hospital after Sharika and her spouse went chasing in the dark about 2 o'clock in the morning to retrieve Welton from a cane field. Terrified that he could harm himself, Sharika said she requested to sign a document authorizing healthcare staff to have Welton restrained. That request was rejected by a nurse, who, in turn, said that a doctor would have to issue those instructions, the patient's sister reported. To her surprise, her brother was not in his bed when she went to visit him on Saturday. One nurse said she go downstairs, and she looked back. She seen him behind the door, and by the time she looked back again, him jump over the stairs, said Miss Thomas, recounting in disbelief what she was reportedly told by another nurse who sent her to the accident and emergency unit. When me go inside and see him just a groan as if him in a lot of pain. Mr. Thomas was transferred to the Kingston Public Hospital by ambulance. But during the journey, Miss Thomas' worries deepened. An oxygen tank was not fully operational, she said. The emergency technician requested to switch the oxygen tank, but a nurse responded that she would not stop because of carelessness this. Every time she go, she have to stop to fix the oxygen, said Miss Thomas, who was inside the ambulance. Mr. Thomas, a woodworker, was admitted about 2 a.m. after undergoing a CT scan. Miss Thomas said that her brother underwent a coronavirus test on Monday because he had a cold. He was placed in an isolation area awaiting the result. A day later, her world crumbled when she heard the words of finality. Sad news, your brother passed away. Miss Thomas said she was told then that her brother had contracted pneumonia. An autopsy will be conducted. Superintendent Alison Byfield of the Morant Bay Police Station initially said that they were unaware of the incident and had not received a report. After making inquiries with the hospital on Wednesday, Byfield disclosed that she was informed of the incident and told that the patient was sent to a hospital in the corporate area for treatment and was recovering. The police superintendent is imploring the hospital to make a formal report of the incident. Melissa Linton, Chief Executive Officer of the Princess Margaret Hospital, said that she was unable to speak on the matter. Miss Thomas is distressed at the thought that her 14-year-old niece and 1-year-old nephew are now fatherless. Mr. Thomas was also a painter, farmer, and an artist. It better him did just shut him eye and lay down and dead, more than him have to jump over somewhere and mash up himself and dead, Miss Thomas said. 20,000 tablet vouchers for some needy families. The government says it will be targeting 36,000 needy families who earn $25,000 or less monthly to benefit from a program aimed at assisting with the purchase of a tablet or laptop for students. In addition to electronic application forms accessible at the Education Ministry's egos.gov.jm portal, members of Parliament are being enlisted to issue hard copies to families deemed eligible for the Own Your Own Device Initiative program, which will allow them to access a $20,000 voucher. Education Minister Favour Williams gave details on the program, for which applications open on November 17 in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. The beneficiaries are those who are in need, but who are not currently on the program of advancement through health and education path. Minister Williams advised that there are other parallel initiatives, such as the one laptop or tablet per child program, which would fill the gap that exists where there are multiple students in a household. She told the House that each MP will receive 250 manually numbered application forms and that copied or printed forms will be rejected. The data from the application forms are to be uploaded to the egos.gov.jm portal or forms physically submitted to the ministry's Heroes Circle head office before December 4, she outlined. Williams noted, too, that the ministry will be using the tax administration database and the student's security number to verify eligibility for the voucher, which will be valid for 6 months. Families will have to make up the difference to purchase their devices from approved vendors, which are to be announced. Williams also noted that the government has sought the advice of the Auditor General's Department to assess the process for transparency. Applications closed on December 20. In the meantime, in her update on the resumption of face-to-face classes at 17 schools across 9 parishes, 15 of which resumed classes on Tuesday, the Education Minister outlined an intensive monitoring and assessment mechanism that is being rolled out over the course of the 2-week pilot. She said quantitative and qualitative data will be collected in order to provide systematic feedback, which will inform the progress of the pilot and the evaluation process. Williams explained that students and teachers will be asked to provide feedback and the data collectors will be dispatched to the 17 schools. School administrators will also be interviewed. This evaluation will be conducted to determine the extent to which the reopening of 17 schools during the pandemic for a period of 2 weeks was done efficiently. It aims to facilitate evidence-based decision-making to determine the successes and highlights further considerations that need to be given to the full and or partial resumption of face-to-face instruction for the education system, she stated. The minister said, too, that use of the blended online audiovisual and learning kit approach will continue, including for the 17 schools in the pilot where needed. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.